Okay, these are the most out-of-pocket questions. These are the most out-of-pocket questions. This title is crazy today. I am only going to be on for like 30 minutes because it is very late where I am, but I still wanted to hop on and do a live stream. I still can't get over the title. I cannot get over the title. Why do I keep attracting men that line? Do I have to be beautiful to get what I want? We'll start off with the first one. The second one. Do I have to be beautiful to get what I want? Because this was actually a comment on my most recent live stream, and I think the person just misperceived what I was saying. And so I'm going to first and foremost say this. Beauty is subjective. And the point that I was making in my previous video is somebody was writing a question saying, the person that I'm with, I am not necessarily attracted to them. I didn't even read the title. I'm not necessarily attracted to them, but they treat me amazing, or something. It was something to that effect, like they treat me so well. Why don't I want them? And I said there were two possible scenarios going on, which is either you're not physically attracted to this person, which is tied into your own individual wants and needs. So you settled for somebody you're not attracted to because of how they treat you, which is fine. Some people can decide to do that. I said that in the video, but that can be conflicting. Or the other option could be you have had a lot of negative dating experiences. And so as this person continues to treat you well, it starts to conflict with your belief system, your general belief system. This is why I say when it comes to creating desirable results in your life, it's all about making adjustments in your identity, your general belief system, because what we play out specifically really has nothing to do with the specific people, places, or things, but more how previous experiences have impacted us and imprinted particular beliefs into us. Okay. So when I was explaining that, though, somebody wrote a comment like, oh, thank you for being honest. There's no level playing field. If you're not attractive, you can't get what you want. And that is not anything that I said. Okay. So again, beauty, looks, physical appearance, that is subjective. And really how that comment read was, whoever wrote that comment, my heart goes out to you. I'm not here to judge you or put you down. But I would say most likely you're operating or you're in your head about physical looks when it comes to dating. And you're assuming that people won't find you attractive or that you're not able to get what you want based off of how you're viewing yourself and your own individual looks. Now, I think we should take care of ourselves. I think that we should strive to take care of our health. I'm very much into fitness. I think taking care of your hygiene, your looks, like that is not a problem. I think that that is something that we should strive to do. We should strive to take better and better care of ourselves. And there's ways that we can adjust ourselves mentally and physically that are useful. Okay. But is that a requirement? No. And in my own personal experiences too, like I have met with so many different people that are societal standard of beauty and people that are not societal standard of beauty. And again, this is subjective. And if beauty were the determining factor, if physical looks were the determining factor, like, then it wouldn't be that mixture. Okay. So I just first start off and say, if you feel like you are not beautiful enough to be loved, that is a lie. And I would take a step back from everything and really start to work on beliefs about embracing your own beauty, seeing yourself as beautiful, seeing yourself as lovable. And yes, you should be able to accept and good treatment as well too, and normalize healthy, loving treatment. But again, the point that I was making in my previous live stream was you can be with people that you are attracted to that also treat you well. Okay. And that goes for anybody. So even the person that wrote that comment, it's really nice that people treat us well. And some people might value that. Like they just don't care about physical looks genuinely. They genuinely don't. And so what they find attractive is how somebody operates. Okay. So there's context and layers to all of this. But essentially, what I was saying in that live stream was you don't have to settle. So I don't want people going around thinking, I have to be with people I'm not physically attracted to because they'll treat me in a particular way, when the reality is you can be with people that you are attracted to that also treat you in the ways that you desire. And again, beauty is subjective. So if you're somebody that values treatment and how somebody treats you makes them more and more beautiful to you, that's a possibility as well. Okay, so I just want to clear up that. But I think this is something that just a lot of people get in their head with, and especially in today's day and age with like social media and how much we're exposed, I think it is a normal human condition to compare yourself and to see societal beauty standards and to feel maybe a bit intimidated by them and to think like I have to look a particular way in order to get what I want out of dating or out of life. And that's not true. Okay, I just want to say that. Do I think you should take care of yourself? Do I think we should strive to be healthy? Do I think that we should strive to be hygienic? Yes, but that is not the full picture. And if you are in your head thinking that you have to look a particular way in order to get what you want out of life, I just am going to reiterate one more time that is not the truth. And again, if you're mentally in that position, then I would take a step back and start really building up your internal dialogue and your internal belief system around how you view yourself, your standards of beauty, and seeing yourself as worthy of the things that you want in life, regardless of looks. That is something that you should work on within yourself and feeling secure with yourself. Okay. Because it's not very fun to, again, be walking around constantly comparing yourself and feeling like you cannot get what you want out of life because of your own perception of how you look. Okay. Because there are plenty of people that I'm sure see you and think you are very beautiful. And the first person that needs to do that is you. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to start off with that. Just because I know the title is a bit out of pocket. Like the things that I have written are a bit out of pocket. But we're just going to start with that. Okay. Like I was saying, it's pretty late where I am, so I'm probably only going to be on for about 30 minutes right now. It is 2:41 a.m. So I need to go to bed, but I promised myself I was going to do a live stream. So here we are. I just had a beautiful dinner with my partner and a friend. So, okay. The second thing that I wanted to talk about here, and I am taking questions from my Instagram. So I posted on my story earlier today. What questions do you guys have if I go live tonight? And so I'm going to try and answer as many questions as I can. The next one that I saw was, why do I keep attracting men that lie? And then somebody else wrote something regarding like men that cheat, men that are married. Somebody wrote something in this comment section. What about keep attracting unavailable men, like married or in relationships already? Okay. And here is what I have to say about that. We are creating our life in a moment-to-moment basis, contingent on the identity that we're in, how we're showing up, how we are responding, and how we're choosing to persist forward, right? So I'm an autonomous adult that gets to choose every single day who I'm being and where I'm placing my focus, what I believe about myself, and what I believe about different areas of my life. With that in mind, it's not just what do I believe, it's fully understanding that my beliefs are driving my behaviors and how I'm showing up and responding to everything as well too, and how that's forming my perception. So I think one thing that I've noticed with myself when it comes to mindset work is I have developed a deep level of trust with my brain and my body. Like if I know I have particular beliefs in place, then I'm going to trust what I'm doing. I'm going to trust the discernment that I have and the decisions that I'm making, even if they don't seem fully clear to me right now, because I understand that my brain is picking up and processing on more information than I could even consciously rationalize. Okay. So again, we're creating our life in a moment-to-moment basis. Now, that is a pretty decent amount of responsibility. But when I see questions of why do I keep attracting this, and then people are thinking about like manifestation, I'm creating my life, I'm attracting and creating the things I want in my life. I think the misperception here that's going on is an over assumption of responsibility. So, am I going to take responsibility for looking up and seeing a clock tick? Okay. Am I going to take responsibility for everything that's going on around me? I mean, when I look at the dynamics that I played into and what I've chosen to respond to and what I have placed a focus on, yeah, I'll take responsibility for that. But am I going to take responsibility for a random stranger coming up to me and, I don't know, slapping me? Like, that is such an extreme example. No, I am not going to sit here and take responsibility for some random ass stranger coming up and slapping me. Okay. I'm going to take responsibility for how I choose to respond to that. And so, what I think is going on when I see these questions of why do I keep attracting unavailable, emotionally unavailable men or married men or guys that are already in relationships, the issue that's going on here is some of you, and I'm saying this so lovingly, okay? I'm saying this so lovingly because I understand this. I know some of you, actually, before I even say what I want to say, I know some of you have been through the ringer. I know some of you have been through bad relationships. I know that some of you have experienced quite a bit of disrespect from a particular sex, and that can go in both ways, okay? Everybody has their own unique life experiences, and you are valid for whatever beliefs you hold up to this point based off of your experiences, okay? With that being said, if you want to have new experiences, you need to take mental inventory of how things have impacted you and make adjustments. And it's going to feel a bit uncomfortable at first to challenge beliefs and go in a new direction. So, to get to the point of what I want to say here now, I think some of you, when you are asking, why do I keep attracting this? You are holding on to negative beliefs about men or women. And these random individuals are just serving as evidence of those beliefs. So, for instance, if I hold a belief that there are not a lot of available men or women, if I hold a belief that getting a committed relationship is very difficult, then when somebody is unavailable, comes to me and approaches me, I'm going to focus, my brain is going to force me to focus on them, and I'm going to interact with them a little bit, or I'm going to get frustrated with them because they are serving as evidence to this deeper belief that I hold. Okay. So, what am I saying here? What you need to do, okay, that's the mental perspective on this. What you need to do when married, unavailable men, emotionally unavailable men, men that lie approach you, we'll talk about the lying one in a second, you need to brush them off. Goodbye. I'm going to stop entertaining you. Of course, men are going to approach me. It's normal for me. I'm like, you can spin this however you want. Okay. Like, I'm beautiful. Of course, I'm being approached. Of course, men are approaching me. Whether you are an available man or an unavailable man, whether you are a liar, whether you're in a marriage, whether you're in a relationship or not, you aren't going to serve as any sort of evidence for the type of experience I'm going to create for myself. And I'm going to just ignore you. That's what needs to happen. Okay. When you guys are saying, why does this keep happening? Why do I keep attracting these types of men or women? I'm going to ask you, why do you keep on entertaining it and allowing for these random people to serve as evidence to the life experience you're going to create for yourself? Because you could just very easily, I understand it's frustrating. Again, this is what I said earlier a second ago. I know some of you have had very negative experiences. And so when you see these things, when you see unavailable people approaching you, people that are in relationships or marriages or they're lying, it's triggering and it's fucking annoying. Okay. So I'm there with you. I get it. I understand the frustration, but I'm telling you at a certain point, you need to change in that and say, this is no longer going to serve as any sort of evidence for anything for me. I don't really care why this person showed up in my life. I'm not going to take ownership or accountability of this because I get to choose who and what I'm going to entertain. So I only it's normal for available men to approach me. It's normal for me to be in happy, healthy relationships with available men or women, people that are emotionally available, people that genuinely commit. And on that journey to creating that experience, as people approach you that are not that, you need to just literally brush them off. Like, I don't give a fuck. Okay, thank you, goodbye. To the next. That's literally how simple you need to keep it. Because again, think about this. If we're living in the end of an identity where it's normal for me to be approached by the people I want to be approached by, I'm not going to really be mentally in my head over unavailable people. Okay. And so to reiterate the point, I think what is going on for some of you is you haven't actually made those adjustments within your belief system. And so when you see these interactions happening, it's frustrating because I mean, it sucks to see people that are taken approach you. It probably makes you think like, damn, is everybody in relationships just fucking cheaters? Like, what is going on here? Okay, so I can understand that why it's annoying, but not everybody operates that way. And so you're letting these random strangers serve as evidence to things that you don't want to create for yourself. Okay, and you're over assuming blame. Why do I keep attracting them? Again, this is the misperception. Like, yes, you are creating your life. Okay. And that means how you're showing up and how you're responding, what you choose to entertain is what you're creating. So, what you need to do when things that you don't want to entertain or have as a part of your life experience show up is you dismiss them. You dismiss them. You're not going to serve as any sort of evidence to me. It's normal for healthy, emotionally available, mature, whatever you men, women to approach me. It's normal for me to have the relationships that I desire. Thank you for the compliment that like even in a relationship, you're attracted to me and you want to try and pull something with me. Wow, I know I'm that desirable. Great. You can write it off in your mind like that, however you want to write it off. But what you need to do is stop letting these people dictate who you are and the type of experiences you're going to have. Okay, so that is the simplest way that I can put it. And that is where belief work is really useful, because the more that you ingrain these beliefs, the more you're going to be able to brush things off. Okay, and you're not going to allow random strangers to define who you are, the experiences you're going to continue to have. Now, with men that lie, okay, this also, I want to say this here. I believe in a healthy level of skepticism. So when I like design my belief tracks or when I'm working with people one-on-one, especially when it comes to trust, I usually do beliefs like it's becoming easier for me to trust the right men or women when they display consistent, healthy behaviors. Okay, now this links up to what I was just saying earlier about trusting yourself, your intuition, and your perception and how beliefs work. All right, so if you are having this experience where like you're getting into dynamics with people that are untruthful, and you're getting frustrated with it, I think, again, would I take necessarily ownership and accountability of them being liars? No, but I would look at like there probably were red flags, there were probably inconsistencies, there were probably things that they were doing even before we got close that I didn't pick up on, or things that were going on that were just outside of my perception at that time. And for whatever reason, I didn't see it until it was too late. Okay. Again, we're very intelligent. And so our brain is processing so much more information at a subconscious level than we can even consciously rationalize. So I want to give this perspective here. If we hold a belief like it's normal for people to lie, it's normal for people to cheat, it's normal for people to be distrustful, and your brain wants to prove your beliefs true, what that could mean, and I want some of you to really think about this, what that could mean is that then when people are lying or acting in shady ways at the beginning, your brain is seeing that and ignoring it and pushing you towards this person, and you're not picking up on the red flags because it's a part of your belief system fulfilling itself. Okay, so that's one thing to kind of think about there as to why certain dynamics may be forming. And again, I want to say this here, I want to validate this again, because if you have been in very crappy dynamics where people have lied to you, like, of course you're going to have that belief system, right? Because it makes sense. You have the circumstantial life experience to support that type of thinking, believing, and viewing people and the world. But at a certain point, you have to look and see, okay, if every single time I'm meeting people, there are certain character quality traits that are coming into play here, what within me is not picking up on this? Like, there has to be something that is going on here to where I'm not seeing something clearly, or I'm choosing to entertain something unconsciously. And I am now noticing a pattern playing out in my life and the quality of the people I'm entertaining, the dynamics that I'm forming. Okay. So with that belief system of it's becoming easier for me to trust the right people when they display consistent, healthy behaviors. If you understand, again, your brain is processing so much information and you're making decisions and you're taking actions and you're showing up based off of your belief system. My understanding of that means when I'm meeting people, if I get any sort of off feeling about them, it is because my brain has picked up on something. It's picked up on some sort of inconsistency, and I'm going to listen to myself. Okay, because again, I understand the belief system that I'm operating from, and I also understand that my perception is formed through that belief system. And my brain is one of the most intelligent things on this planet that can process information quicker than I ever could consciously. So that is, in a way, fine tuning your intuition, I guess, right? To me, it's not necessarily intuition, it's just really understanding the brilliance of your mind. So that's one thing, right? You're going to be more aware and in tune with yourself. So if there are weird things, you're picking up on them. The flip side to that means when you choose to entertain somebody, you have also seen enough information, or your brain has seen them display a level of consistency that is allowing for you to naturally extend trust and let them into your life at a more closer, intimate level. What relates to all of this is a common message or theme that I've said across my channel, which is taking a slow burn. When you normalize healthy, loving relationships in your life, or healthy, loving friendships, or normalizing getting what you want to whatever area of your life it is, there's not going to be a sense of urgency because it's a normal experience for you. When something is a normal experience for you, you're going to be more discerning. You're going to allow things to naturally unfold. Okay. When something is not normalized for us, when there is, again, a sense of urgency around something, we're not going to be thinking clearly. So we're going to miss little details because we're going to be more desperate to get and keep that thing quickly, that we're not going to be in that discerning way of operating. So again, when we normalize particular experiences in our life and we add in really good, healthy beliefs surrounding that area of our life, we're going to be able to take a slow burn, observe, allow people, places, and things to present themselves to us. And then we're going to be within a level of trust with ourselves and our mind and our belief system to be able to recognize inconsistencies if they're there, or remove ourselves, or set an example that if you want to be in my life, you need to operate in XYZ way. Okay. So when it comes to liars, people that act in distrustful ways, again, like I said, I think it's my personal philosophy is to have a healthy level of skepticism and to design beliefs where people display consistent, congruent, healthy behaviors that will then allow for you to naturally extend trust. Do I think that we should go out into the world, pick random strangers off of the street and be like, I totally trust you. I'm going to be in a relationship with you. You're my best friend. No, people should earn your trust, right? And that's okay. So when you take this approach, in my opinion, you're going to be more discerning and more careful in a way that breaks those patterns, versus when something's not normalized, we're a little bit rushing. We are not a little bit, we're rushing into different dynamics. We're not discerning so quickly. You may find that, yeah, the people you choose to surround yourself with, the people you choose to get into relationships with, whatever it may be, come to find out, they may not have the best character quality traits, or they may have had red flags that you overlooked. Okay. So that is how we would deal with finding yourself in situations where people are lying or distrustful. Okay. Now, pay attention, because I said quite a few things there too. I said, you'll also be in a belief system to adjust yourself. So we show people how to treat us based off of how we are showing up, the example that we're setting, and how we're responding. We're creating our lives. So I have seen in my own life experience people that operate in maybe not the best ways for some individuals, but for other people, they act completely differently. Okay. So, like, for instance, I've seen, let me give a more clear example. Somebody be in a marriage where in that particular marriage, they are like unsupportive, don't take action, like rude, emotionally unavailable. And then with somebody else, okay, in a different relationship and marriage, they're emotionally available, taking action, considerate, caring, going above and beyond. So in that regard, in my opinion, what that comes down to is boundaries. So when you are forming dynamics with people, this is why it's important to have those beliefs regarding trust being earned, normalizing the experiences that you want to have, not rushing into anything. And that relates to things like how you attach. When you're more discerning in this way, you're going to pick up on inconsistencies and set an example that is, if you want to be in my life, don't fuck with me. Okay, that's pretty much the easiest, most simple way that I can say it. All right. And if we're valuing ourselves properly, we will be more willing to lose people than want their love, acceptance, or consistency within our life. You set a very clear example to people that, again, if you're going to be in my life, you're going to respect me, you're going to treat me properly, you're going to honor me properly, and you're only going to be able to do that if you operate that way with yourself and you have healthy, congruent beliefs. Okay. So, am I saying with people that lie are distrustful? I mean, like, should you move forward with that? I'm not going to tell you what to do. Okay. But we have to also take into consideration how dynamics are formed, right? Because if I don't have good boundaries and like the first time something happens, if you do not have healthy boundaries and you don't adjust yourself in some way, you're going to set an example that this is acceptable. So whether you even have a healthy person, you could take a really healthy person and show them through your lack of boundaries, people pleasing, and over giving that they get to be lazy with you. Okay, so this is just really important in general to understand that there is a level of responsibility within our dynamics and how we're showing up, what we're accepting, and what we're entertaining. That's the other component that we have to take into consideration here. So if you're in a situation right now where somebody has been lying out their ass to you and been doing a fuck ton of distrustful things, first off, if you want to fix that, like, it's not my place to tell you what to do. All right. But like at a certain point, you should look at it and be like, you don't try the wrong one a little bit too much. Okay. But if you want to turn any situation around, the solution is going to be always 1000% always going to be get very objective and honest, get very real, set boundaries, remove yourself, and don't give a fuck if somebody throws a temper tantrum or tries to emotionally manipulate you and make you feel bad for having boundaries and standards. Okay. Let them throw their little temper tantrums, let them feel the consequences of their actions. Take care of yourself, take care of your nervous system, take care of your mental health, take care of your belief system, move forward with self-respect. And that is the only way that you're going to be able to create a different dynamic there, is for them to feel and reap what they sow. Okay. And you got to do that like very unapologetically, very, very unapologetically. You cannot play with your boundaries. If there is any sort of playing with your boundaries, you're going to get played with all the way to hell. Okay. Like, I'm just being so for real with you right now. Okay. Because I don't love to say that because I wish, I'm not trying to say this as a limiting belief, but like I was saying this to a client the other day, it would be great if we just lived in a society where it was like, we're all cool, like we understand each other, and like sometimes people make mistakes, and like I trust that you know how to treat me properly, and I'm going to operate off good faith and integrity with you. Okay. But the reality is, like, we have to continue to uphold our standards and boundaries, and that's just the reality of it. Okay. So unfortunately, like, it would be great to be cool and not have to call people out on their shit, but sometimes you just got to take it there, and not sometimes, you have to maintain that. All right. Okay. Let's see. I want to answer one more, and then I really gotta go to bed. It's 3 a.m. here. Oh, I will do another live tomorrow though. Okay. What do you say when people you're enforcing boundaries with and they ask why you're being distant when you're focusing on yourself? I don't want to be reactionary. I'm being distant. No. Okay. So here's the thing. Like, I just find that being real is always the best policy. Okay. So I want you to think about it like this. If you had the audacity to treat me in whatever disrespectful way, and then I'm setting a boundary, and then you're wondering why I'm getting distant, I should not feel bad for letting you know I'm being distant because you acted in a fucked up way. That's not being reactionary. That is just being real. And if they don't like it, they can really sit and think about what they did. But the thing that I want you to think about when you're asking this question is, it's framed in a way that I feel. The way that I read that question is, I don't want to upset these people. I'm already setting a boundary that maybe I feel a bit uncomfortable with. And if they ask me why I'm being distant, I don't want to make them feel bad, or I don't want to cause problems. So how do I handle this? And the reality is they created the problem. Okay. And you are now doing your due diligence to remain self recognized and set the example that it was a problem that you're not going to accept. And if they don't like it, they need to live with that and understand it and go through whatever thought process they need to, adjustment within themselves to be able to honor you properly. So, again, you can keep it simple. I'm being distant because you did something that was really. I'm just saying it in plain language right now. You don't have to say it like this. Okay, this is a bit aggressive, but this is a bit aggressive. But I might say it like this. Okay, like I'm being distant because you acted fucked up. I'm being distant because you disrespect me. I'm being distant because you thought you could play in my face and you found out. I'm being distant because you thought that you could be inconsistent with me. And so you're wondering why I'm being distant, but you got to be distant and inconsistent with me. Okay. So again, when you're handling these things, again, you're the one creating your life. Do not let people outside of you define who you are or what you get to experience in this life. Okay, do not let the fear of how they might react to you advocating for yourself to cause you to silence yourself. And that, I think, is like the biggest, like for some of you, and I understand this as well too, because I'm a nice person. I don't want to make other people feel uncomfortable. But then you hit a certain point where it's like, if you don't give a fuck about making me uncomfortable and doing things that I don't like, why am I sitting over here trying to not be reactionary and cater to you and keep the peace when you didn't keep the peace for me? You're out here doing shit that has me all triggered and upset. So why do I have to take the higher road in this moment? Okay. But I'm telling you too, handling it this way is how people actually respect you. Just as long as it's not like anything, as long as you're not like blowing somebody's phone up and just like, you understand what I'm saying. Okay. Like taking it all the way there. Okay. But this is also how you get people to, respect you, when you actually stand up for yourself and you keep it all the way real. And that's where you're able to create shifts in dynamics. No more. I say it how it is. I'm sorry. We're not sorry. Okay. When am I doing a live Q&A chat? I'll do one tomorrow. Let me do one more question, though, really quick. Somebody else wrote this question I thought was really good, which is, what do you do when you feel insecure about different economic status? So this is a bit of a controversial one. I think it's kind of a slightly different answer depending on like what sex you are. He says, I want to meet you. I like you, but that's a lie because what's up? You can meet me, but that's BS. Effort sucks. I don't know. Okay. All right. So let me go back to the question. What do you do when you're feeling insecure about different economic status? So as a woman, I don't think that you should be concerned about economic status at all. Okay. I don't even think that is a metric or anything that like you should be concerned about, period. So I would more go in the direction of getting beliefs in place, like I am allowing myself to be taken care of by the right man. I'm allowing myself to receive, to be in a state of receiving from the right man. I see myself as somebody that normalizes being taken care of. Again, just getting to a place where mentally you're not viewing your financial standing as a determining factor for relationships, because it's really not. And that is, I'm not giving advice to be a gold digger. I'm just being all the way 1000% real. I just don't think it is anything that you should be worried about, think about, even compare yourself in any metric way as a woman, because if we're being all the way 1000% real, there is an imbalance in society. Men get paid more. That is just the reality of the situation. So why would you even compare yourself to something that is not even, we're not on a level playing field in that regard. Also, a majority of women, in my opinion, want to be with men that are in that more provider way of operating. And from that stance, a man like that isn't going to make you feel bad about your, economic standing. If anything, they're probably going to be like, how can I help you be more independent on your own, or have your own money coming in and supportive of you, and again, nurturing you and taking care of you and helping you build yourself up. Okay, so that's my opinion on that for women. As men, if you're insecure about your economic status, that is where I would probably take a step back from dating for a little bit and focus your time and attention on a skill set, whether that is soft skills, hard skills, whatever way you make your money. I would, like, for instance, for me, I'm going to use a different example. I guess I could use like YouTube as an example. I wanted to use like the gym as an example because I want you guys to really see like how powerful beliefs are, because again, beliefs drive behaviors. So you can put yourself into a belief system where you're automatically showing up in ways that lead to your success. Okay, so once you learn how to use your brain, you can literally fine tune it to where everything that you're doing is working congruently towards what you want to experience. Okay, so for myself, like with the gym, I made sure I put in a lot of beliefs around like, it's easy for me to establish routines. I enjoy working out. I always make it to the gym. I always prioritize the gym. I always eat the proper foods to drive those behaviors. So, and I was going to say I could do that for YouTube. That's content creation, speaking on camera, running a business. Like, you can design beliefs that drive successful behaviors. Okay. As a man, though, again, what I was saying is I would probably take a little bit of a step back from dating, because I think having a level of financial stability is just an important thing. Do you have to be financially stable in order to have a relationship? No. Okay. Do I suggest it? Yes. So again, we have to think bigger picture here, because majority of people are getting into relationships, hopefully for long term, right? And so we want to be able to maintain something long term, which is a part of like our financial success, right? If I don't have the funds and the stability to maintain something, that's most likely going to be a problem down the line. Okay. So let's think bigger picture with that. And I'm not saying you have to take a step back forever, but at least, some time to adjust your belief system around, again, skills, proficiency, discipline, productivity, whatever job you're doing. If you're going to school to get a better education and a better job, building up beliefs around that, good, healthy beliefs about money, financial handlings, financial stability. Build yourself up career and finances wise. And as you step into that belief system, if you're actually doing that, you're not going to be insecure about your economic standing anymore. Okay. So that would be the solution for that side of the equation. But again, for women, I don't think your economic standing plays any sort of role. And do I think that you should, I think you should have things that you're passionate about. I think you should, do things that like you enjoy. And I'm not saying to like have no economic standing, but like, I don't think it's a factor that comes into play necessarily with relationships. Okay. And so I would go more in the direction of like devaluing that and realizing like, I don't have to be in any sort of economic position to be in a loving, committed relationship with a man, even if he's more financially successful than me, because the men that I'm going to be with aren't going to put me down. Okay. They're not going to look at me and say, wow. And if they do, you better be running. Okay. If you have a man in your life that is not encouraged, like if he is wanting you to grow and be independent and have something you're passionate about and is encouraging you, I think that's great. Okay. But if he's over here like making you feel bad about your economic standing, okay. Now raise an eyebrow to that. Okay. I fear making changes so much that I can't really change my beliefs, and that is totally normal. So I'm gonna, and this is my last question. I need to go because I'm getting tired. Okay, having a hard time answering the questions. I'm going to tell you that belief work is easy. I'm going to tell you that you can create the changes that you want in your life easily, because that's the mindset that you need to go into it with. The reality is your brain has built up your identity over time based off of factual experiences that you've gone through that your brain is going to want to hold in place. Okay, because it's how you know yourself and how you know the world. To challenge that is very much similar to a threat, right? Because if I have a whole belief system built of how I know myself in the world, and I hold this belief system in place as a guideline for what is acceptable or not acceptable, or what could be hurtful or what couldn't be hurtful, when I come in and go in a new direction, my brain and body is going to feel like it's under attack. Because now you're trying to tell me something, you're trying to have me go in a direction that is completely opposite of how I know myself in the world. It could be so opposite that if I go in this direction with this belief system, I'm believing that I'm going to get hurt or I'm going to fail because I have nothing in my mind or experiences that support this being successful or a experience that I could have. So what I'm saying here is changing beliefs. I'm going to tell you it's easy. You could do it. You're going to need to persist and be disciplined. It's very uncomfortable. Okay, you're going to experience resistance. I'm not trying to say this in a limiting way. I'm saying this so that you understand what's going on so you don't get freaked out by it. So the key here is to make sure you take a structured, balanced, sustainable approach and you mitigate and manage discomfort. And that comes down to the wording of how you're, doing beliefs. That comes down to having good nervous system regulation exercises. That comes down to doing really good, efficient meditations. That comes down to listening to your body and taking breaks when you feel overwhelmed. This is a very personal process that you have to really guide yourself through in a balanced, sustainable way, taking into consideration why it may be uncomfortable and trying to lessen that discomfort as much as possible. Okay, because you can do that. So, yes, it's going to, it's normal to fear making changes, because when we're making changes, we're going in an unknown direction, or we're going in a direction that our brain might be in complete opposition to. So for instance, let me give you an example of how this could be so uncomfortable. If somebody holds a belief system like all men cheat, okay, and they grew up seeing that, they saw their parents like have infidelity, they had a few experiences where they got cheated on, to start going in the direction of there are some men that are loyal and committed, okay, is in complete contradiction to experiences and currently held beliefs. So much so that when somebody tells themselves that, their brain and their body is like, why are you saying this? You're going to get hurt. It's very, very uncomfortable. So, and that's fine, that you can persist through that, because we want to have a belief system like there are some men that are loyal and committed. Okay. But as you're going through that change, you need to take that into consideration. So if I have all these experiences here, probably jumping to a brand new belief isn't going to be the most sustainable way. I'm starting to believe, I'm starting to accept. It could be possible, okay? And again, making sure you're doing nervous system regulation, making sure you're having a good daily routine, taking breaks when you need to so that you don't get burnt out. You are going to essentially go through the fear that you're experiencing, but in a very methodical, thought out way, okay? So that it doesn't become overbearing to the point where you quit. Okay, so, alrighty, that was gonna be my last question today. I'm gonna head out. I need to go to bed. It was a joy talking to all of you. I think somebody put like some money in the chat. So thank you for anybody that did that. I appreciate it. Again, I will come on tomorrow and do a live Q&A. And until then, I hope you have a beautiful day, night, time, wherever you are, and I'll see you all later.